Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I am currently running on 4 hours of sleep in Starbucks. However, I am doing surprisingly well. So sometimes when I talk to people about sexuality or gay rights have come up in conversation, people will often say something along the lines of, sexuality doesn't matter to me. You know, that even though you don't identify as heterosexual, it doesn't make you any different. We're both the same. Here's the thing about that statement though. It has absolutely amazing intentions behind it. You're telling someone that their identity is normal and that being different is completely okay and doesn't affect your perspective of them. To them, your gay identity, your bisexual identity, your pansexual identity doesn't mean anything negative to them at all. But there is another possible side to making this statement. We are saying that someone's sexuality doesn't matter, that we as people, regardless of our sexual orientation, are exactly the same. No one is different in a bad way and we should be treated exactly the same. But here's the thing, sexuality does matter, and let me explain what I mean. Someone who identifies as gay experiences things in life that somebody who identifies as heterosexual does not. Gay people often face legal and social discrimination just because they're gay, and that type of discrimination is directly related to that individual's specific sexuality. You can also look at this from a perspective of somebody who identifies as bisexual. Bisexuality, I would argue, is often seen as a less legitimate identification than heterosexuality and homosexuality, and a lot of people often view bisexuality as, pick one or the other, you can't have both. This type of discrimination relates directly to bisexuality. So if I identified as bisexual, I would be open to this possible discrimination, whereas, realistically speaking, people who identify as heterosexual or homosexual don't really face this. When we reverse this thinking, you can still apply it to heterosexuality. People who identify as heterosexual are, generally speaking, legally and socially advantaged over those in the LGBT community just because of their sexual orientation. A heterosexual identification does not expose you to the same discrimination that you would face with a gay identification, just as a gay identification would not expose you to the same discrimination that a pansexual identification would expose you to. Now that's not to say that heterosexual people can't be discriminated against. I'm not saying that 90% of the world's population cannot face discrimination at some point in their lives. I'm saying exactly what I'm saying, that generally speaking, having a heterosexual identification means that you are automatically socially and legally advantaged over LGBT people. Whether you interpret it to be this way or not, it's true that you experience these advantages, and in some respect, you kind of have a privilege. So in this sense, sexuality matters. You may perceive me a certain way because of my sexuality, and I may perceive you a certain way because of yours. Both of us may also perceive the world in a slightly different way because we don't identify with the same sexualities. We have not seen the world through the exact same perspective, through the exact same experiences, and the world has not seen us with the same perspective. Our identity, and I mean our identity in general, our race, our gender, our sexuality, our religion, our socioeconomic status, etc. All of these things together affect how the world sees us, and it also affects how we see the world. All of these aspects of our identity combined are also why two gay people don't go through the exact same experiences in life, or why two straight people don't go through the exact same experiences, have the exact same perspective on the world. Together, our whole identity is what really affects how we see the world, and that is what sexuality is a part of, and that is why it matters. So when we say that someone's sexuality doesn't matter, I think most of the time we don't intend on dismissing everything that that person has experienced in their life because of their sexual orientation. But that's what it can mean. We can diminish the individual experiences that people have because of their unique identity, whether they actively chose that identity or not. So sexuality does matter because it helps give us a perspective, and it also helps others have a perspective of us. So I hope you enjoyed this video and it made you think a little bit, but I do want to hear from you, so please comment down below and let me know, do you think that sexuality plays such an important role? Does sexuality really affect how we perceive others, perceive the world, and how those things perceive us? Please share the video around because sharing is caring. But that is basically it for me today. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I will talk to you all next Friday, and until then, Davidoutt.